It's been a very long time since GOLDINVEST last spoke to EcoGraf. During that time, the company made great strides with its proposed graphite production facility in Australia. We spoke to EcoGraf's Managing Director Andrew Spinks and asked him to bring us up to speed on this exciting opportunity. Welcome, Andrew.
Great to be with you, Bjorn.
Andrew, as I said, it has been some time. So please remind us of what you're trying to achieve in Kwinana. Give us perhaps the metrics of the planned facility, financial and otherwise.
That's right. It's been some time, and we've spent 8 years and over $35 million developing a diversified supply of battery graphite for the transition to clean energy and e-mobility. That's centred around our decision to locate our first facility in Kwinana, Western Australia. We've just completed at the beginning of this month a development report for the financing of this project. We've had strong support from both state and federal government for the development of this project, and we're working through trying to secure the financing of the development. For anybody that's interested in the Kwinana development, the report is a very comprehensive document, as I've stated. It shows a very attractive, strong return over a long period of time, and the forecast demand for battery graphite is going to be very significant. We're just at the foothills of the demand now. The NPV of the project is now over $300 million US dollars, which is significantly above our current market cap of Aussie 60 million, which is where we sit today.
Okay, well, very interesting. Thanks for the short recap. Now, what we communicated to the market over here too is that this facility will be the first outside of China to produce spherical graphite for the battery market, where perhaps people still don't know that China is dominating that market completely. It will also be using the company's proprietary EcoGraf process. Please tell our audience what makes this process unique. Is it proven already? Did potential customers already verify it?
That's right. 5 years ago, we set out to develop a process that has to be cost competitive with the existing supply, which is, as you've mentioned, dominated by the Chinese. In fact, it's quite remarkable. The entire investment going into the transition to clean energy in Europe is reliant on this sole supply. So 5 years ago, we set out, we've developed a purification process that does not use hydrofluoric acid. Hydrofluoric acid is a very toxic acid. We've got a chemical process, multi-chemical step process. It's eco-friendly, it's very cost efficient, and we've done an enormous amount of product qualification over the last 4 to 5 years. And we're very pleased to say that we've signed ThyssenKrupp as our first major offtake partner. They've secured 50% of our supply out of Kwinana, and we're working with other strategic German and European customers that involves OEMs, battery manufacturers, leading chemical companies. So we very much see a significant demand on the horizon as these factories come into play. Cell manufacturing begins in Europe in 3 to 4 years. We'll be positioned very nicely for supplying that demand.
Okay, very interesting. Well, you mentioned you're working with partners. Sounds like you're pretty advanced in your plans already. Where are you exactly on the road to production? So starting up production then, what are the biggest hurdles still in front of you on the way?
Look, it's obviously financing. We've got a development ready project that will be scalable. We've done all the product qualification to secure the interest and the support. We think we are close to, getting another interested party for offtake. We've signed an agreement with the state government over here for a 6.7 hectare site. In fact, the Premier Mark McGowan was on site with the Minister Bill Johnson, the Energy Minister, announcing that agreement. So we believe we've got everything lined up. It's essentially financing and bringing this project into development. It's an 11-month construction period. So on financing, we believe we can quite quickly move to production.
Okay, well, sounds good. Let's see how you managed or when you managed to achieve that. Now, you touched on this already, but can you give us a bit more of an idea what you expect demand for graphite to be in the battery market, battery metals market?
Yes, look, we're very close to the major anode cell manufacturers. We've got a very good view on where the demand is at the moment, and essentially demand is around 180,000 tonnes per annum, 150,000 to 180,000 tonnes per annum. Obviously, it's all being produced in China, and about 40 to 50,000 tonnes is exported to South Korea and Japan. That's currently the demand. We very much see that growth is going to grow over the next 3 to 5 years at a phenomenal rate. Some groups are predicting 800%. We're very much expecting by 2025 it'll be around 450,000 tonnes to 500,000 tonnes of required material, which is a substantial increase in demand at the moment. Pricing has remained relatively stable. Current pricing in the financial model of our development report, we've used just over 3,000, which is a reflection of really the two main grades outside of China, which is defined by particle size distribution, an SPG with a 10 micron and a 15 micron. So we've used a balance of that. So the pricing forecast we've used is quite modest. Obviously, when you combine it with the demand we've just outlined, one would think pricing will increase, and also the environmental transparency required for this new demand in Europe. There's not one OEM that's not talking about responsibly produced raw materials. So that is going to come at a cost. You can't produce at a very high environmental standard without that adding on cost.
That's true. That's certainly true. But speaking of environmental concerns, that's where you should be able to profit again, because as I understand, the EcoGraf process can also be used in battery recycling. Please tell us about that. Tell us what the opportunities in the plans are in that regard.
Look, that's something just recent this year, which has been a remarkable, breakthrough using our proprietary purification process. We did some initial test work looking at recovering the carbon anode material from lithium-ion, end-of-life lithium-ion batteries. And we were really surprised by the result. It was really, the early result we got was really surprising. I guess now what we see as the opportunity is, the current recycling methods of lithium-ion batteries just focuses on the cathode metals. The rest of it is landfilled, and that is not consistent with the move to green energy. And even the European Union is now stating that 50% of the batteries have to be recycled. And for that to happen, the carbon anode material has to be recovered and recycled, not landfilled. So we see two streams. There's a production waste off the shop floor that is going, is one stream of material, and obviously recovering the carbon anode material from end-of-life batteries. And really the significant opportunity here is we believe that recovering this material, putting it back into the battery or reusing it, will lower the carbon emissions and ultimately contribute to lowering the battery unit costs. And it's one of these opportunities that will go to the overall reduction and efficiencies of lithium-ion batteries. So it's early days. We still have to do more work, but the results are really encouraging.
Okay, well, very interesting. Well, that's one of the big things there's a lot of critics of lithium-ion battery technology too, saying, well, you need all these commodities or all these resources to produce them. But if you can say, okay, a larger part of this is coming from recycled material, that would be very good for acceptance and for also for the environment, of course. Now, just one question I had that came to my mind is that, let's say the recycling business is up and running, whatever it takes. You said it's early days still, so we'll see on that one. But let's say it's up and running and you've got the production at the facility and you've got the recycling production. Will you then blend those materials? Will there be one material coming out of your factory, or will that be two different things?
Look, that's a really great observation, and that's really one of the exciting opportunities we do have. That producing a high purity spherical graphite that comes with all the green credentials. We're above specification. We're above spec on the carbon side. So mixing it, blending it with carbon anode material recovered through the recycling process provides a really attractive material to put back into the battery. So we obviously see it as an opportunity to open further doors, and we're surprised at how much interest we've received from European customers on the recycling. We've signed our first major agreement with South Korea's largest lithium-ion battery recycling group, Sungil High Tech, and we're working with their material. We're also working with a number of other customers, and I guess the solution is we think it's circular. To successfully put the material back into the battery, there's going to need collaboration, and we're collaborating with Sungil, and they're very well connected in the South Korean market with the battery manufacturers, and we see the same thing in Europe, and obviously leadership from the OEMs. There has to be leadership in wanting this material to be put back in, and there's a number of the ways we can commercialize this material. Ultimately, Kwinana could be, we've got a big footprint in Kwinana, 6.7 hectares, that could be used to look at recycling. We're also looking at customizing the process to bolt on to existing recovering facilities. So there's a lot of flexibility and opportunity in the market.
Okay, very interesting. Well, certainly looks like a greener future there for EcoGraf, in more than one respect, hopefully. Now, that's for the future. Let's go a bit back into the past, because what brought GOLDINVEST to cover EcoGraf in the first place back then was the Ipanco flake graphite project in Tanzania. Could you just please bring us up to speed what the status is in that regard?
Yes, and as people may know, we've just had presidential elections in Tanzania, and for Tanzania it went very well. It was a peaceful election. President Magufuli was re-elected. It was overwhelming support. There was a little bit of concern over fraud, but you've just got to have a look at the US. But we think it's a really positive move in terms of this second term being very focused. We've seen some green shoots arising around the president wanting to see this term industrializing, welcoming foreign investment back. And before the election, we saw Barrick make some final payments. They've been awarded some leases. We've seen the Ministry of Finance, the Minister of Finance, be reappointed earlier this week. We've been working with KfW IPEX on a funding proposal. We've tabled a $60 million US funding proposition to the government for final approval, and we believe that that will come into play when the ministry's been announced, and we remain confident that our project will ultimately be developed. We've still got the strong support of our offtake partner ThyssenKrupp and the financing support of KfW IPEX. And you know, we still think it's the best graphite project going around. It's gone through all the rigors of due diligence. It's got all the key elements to be a successful production, and ultimately feed into our supply, you know, vertically integrated supply. But the downstream is not reliant on that Tanzanian supply at present.
Okay, very good. Thank you very much. Good to hear something there. Now then, please sum up for us. What are the plans for the next couple of months? What can we expect from EcoGraf till the end of 2021, let's say?
Look, we've got 2 months, a month remaining. We believe there's significant news to come over the journey. Really, our focus is on the Kwinana and getting, you know, finalising the due diligence process for the funding, the debt financing support. We've had strong interest from other potential customers, and we think that will collaborate into result in potential partnerships. And we've got further good news around the recycling, and who knows, fingers crossed something might happen in Tanzania, but we're not holding our breath. Clearly the focus is on Kwinana, bringing that facility into production.
Okay. Thank you, Andrew. That was a good update, and thank you for taking the time. I'm sure we'll talk again a bit sooner, or won't have that long a break till we talk again next time. Thank you.
Hey, it's been a pleasure, Bjorn. I look forward to coming back.